Hello, my dear students of class 12 Geography. This is fourth video on chapter 2, the world population of fundamentals of human geography. In this video, we are going to study about the demographic transition theory. This is an important topic of this chapter, demographic transition theory. This theory, demographic transition theory, is used to describe and predict the future population of a region or a country. How? Actually, it gives us a relationship between the level of economic development of a country and its demographic characteristics. Because it has been observed that there is a relationship between the population growth and changes in the population composition with the economic development or the technological development of a country. As the country develops economically and technologically, the population growth rate slows down. So, in this theory tells us that population of any region or country changes from high births and high death to low births and low deaths as the society progresses from rural, agrarian, illiterate to urban, industrial and literate society. What does it mean? When the society is larger proportion of people live in rural areas, the larger proportion of people are illiterate, and most of the people derive their livelihood from agriculture. Economy is agrarian, and so in that case, the birth rate is high, death rate is high, so growth of population is low. But as the society progresses, from illiterate to literate, or agrarian economy to industrial economy, and rural area to urban area, then the population changes. Actually, these changes occur in stages. Which are collectively known as demographic cycle. Actually, there are three staged model of demographic cycle. Changes occur in three stages of development, or the changes that occur we can divide into three stages, which we call the stages of demographic transition, or collectively we call the demographic cycle. The first stage is the stage of slow population growth. This stage is marked by both high birth and high death rates. High birth rate and high death rate, the population growth, and as a result, the population growth is slow. In this stage, birth rate is also high and death rate is also high, and so population growth is slow. Actually, this stage indicates that people are mostly illiterate. And have low level of technology. And most people are busy in agricultural activities, and so their children are considered to be the part of workforce. So there is a high birth rate, but due to the lack of proper medical facility, death rate is also high, and so population growth is slow. 200 or 300 years before, before industrial revolution, all the countries of the world were in this stage of demographic cycle, when birth rate and death rate both were very high. Now second stage of demographic cycle. In this stage, sanitation improves, medical facility becomes better, and that lead to decline in the mortality rate, death rate of the people, of death rate in the population. But the birth rate remains high. As a result, net increase in population is very high. Most of the developing countries belong to this stage of demographic transition or demographic cycle. So again I once tell, in this stage there improvement in medical facility, improvement in sanitation facility take place in the society, and that result in the declining of the mortality rate, death rate, but the birth rate remains high. As a result, the net addition to population is very high. Net increase to the to the total population is very high, and this is common in most of the developing countries right now also. And the third stage, in this stage, both fertility rate and mortality rate, birth rate and death rate, both decline considerably. And why? Because the population becomes literate, urbanized, and have high level of technical know-how, and deliberately controls the family size. So in this stage, when people becomes more literate, most of the people becomes urbanized, and the percentage of people dependent on agriculture decreases, and they start working in the secondary and tertiary activities. Their technical know-how is high, so, and they deliberately control the family size. So they are in position, with the help of science and technology, they control the family size. So in this stage, population becomes stagnant, growth becomes very low or negative. So this is the third stage of demographic transition theory, or demographic transition cycle. Now if we put a glimpse on the trends in population growth, of the world since the historical time, we find that around 10,000 BC, the world population was just around 5 million, 50 lakhs. That at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, also world population was just 550 million. At the beginning of Industrial Revolution, we can say like 1750 AD. In 1750 AD, the world population was just 550 million. But after that, during the Industrial Revolution, when the world got industrialized to somewhat, and people started living in the urban area, and people become little literate also, and what we find, there is a population explosion, and in 1830 the population reaches to 1 billion mark. In 1830, population reaches 1 billion mark. But after that, there is a very fast growth of population, and in very small time, in 1930, the population becomes 2 billion. And now what we see today, presently it is over 7 billion. People. So population growth has become very fast in the last 200 years. Population doubling time. Suppose in 1951 India's population was 36 crore, and today we find the population growth about total population of India as per the census 2011 is 121 crore. What we see, the population has grown many times. So the time taken to double the population of an area at the present rate of growth, the time taken to double the population of a country or a region at the present growth rate is called population doubling time. and this varies greatly from both from region to region. From region to region, it has been seen that in the developed countries, in the developed nations, will take longer time, or will take much longer time to double their population in comparison to the developing nations. Developing nations, population doubling time in developing nation is less, much less than the developed nations. In many developed nations, there is no sign of development, as growth is zero or negative. So this is the population doubling time. Okay, thank you. We have come to the end of this chapter, and we'll start now the next chapter of the book 1, India, People and Economy. The first chapter we'll study in the next video. Thank you.